Hello guys, welcome back to TFD. Man, let me tell you, this was one of those games where as it got closer to the end, I just sat there like, what in the world am I even supposed to say about this? Because honestly, this wasn't just a loss, it was a full-on dumpster fire. At one point, I thought, okay, maybe they're gonna fight back, maybe there's still a spark here. They trimmed it down to within 6, and for a brief second I thought, oh, hold up, this might actually turn into a game. But nope, that little glimmer of hope got snatched real quick because the Las Vegas Aces just hit another gear and never looked back. When you're getting cooked by Nelissa Smith to the point where she's flat out running your team out of the gym, then yeah, whatever game plan you had coming in, throw it in the trash. Stephanie White and the Fever had no answers, and it showed. Final score? 90-68. Folks, that's not just a loss, that's downright repugnant. And here's the thing. The Aces looked like the best team in the WNBA again tonight. The same squad that got embarrassed in Game 1 turned right around and delivered a statement win at Michelob Ultra Arena in Game 2. After getting smacked on their home floor Sunday night, they weren't about to let Indiana march in there and take control of this series. A'ja Wilson, fresh off locking up her 4th MVP, reminded everybody exactly why she's that good. She became just the 4th player in WNBA playoff history to put up 25 points and 5 steals in a single game. That's elite company, and she made it look easy. The win tied the series at 1-1, and now things shift to Indianapolis for Game 3. But let's not forget how we got here. In Game 1, it was the Kelsey Mitchell show. She went absolutely nuclear, 34 points, the second most in Fever playoff history, and powered Indiana to an 89-73 victory. That performance handed Vegas just their second loss in the last 20 games, snapping a ridiculous 16-game win streak they carried out of the regular season. So naturally, everybody came into Game 2 wondering, can Mitchell and the Fever do it again? The answer? Not even close. Vegas jumped out fast, building a 9-point lead in the first quarter, and then blasted off on an 11-2 run that ballooned the lead to 18. Aaliyah Boston tried her best to keep Indiana in striking distance, nearly had a double-double by halftime, and the Fever even ripped off a little 11-0 run of their own to claw it back to single digits. But every time Indiana made a push, the Aces had an answer. And then, second half? Becky Hammon wasn't playing around. Just 45 seconds into the third quarter, she exploded. Called a timeout immediately after Lexi Hull drilled a 3 and Kelsey Mitchell scored in transition off a sloppy turnover. Hammon lit into her team, and from that point on, the Aces locked down and slammed the door shut. So yeah, Game 2 was ugly, but it sets the stage for a wild showdown in Indy. Series tied, both teams fired up, now it's anybody's ballgame. So here we are again, right back at it. A'ja Wilson, 11 of 20 from the field. She finishes with 27 points, 8 rebounds. And let me be clear, she wasn't living at the line tonight. Just 5 free throw attempts. People love to scream, whistle advantage, but honestly, I didn't see it. The Fever did get outpaced in free throws as a team, but this wasn't some refs in Vegas pocket kind of thing. Nah, A'ja just straight up handled business. Now, flip the script to Nelissa Smith. Yup, that Nelissa Smith. She was efficient. 8 of 11 from the floor, 72%, 16 points, 9 rebounds. But even with her putting up that type of production, the Fever were still cooked. Because the Aces just stacked up double-digit scorers like it was nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different Aces players in double figures. That's what we call a massacre. This was a straight-up clinic. Lexi Hull tonight. Man, she had her moments. 4 of 9 from deep, 12 points. But overall, 5 of 15. That's 33%. That's not going to cut it when the team around you is getting worked. And let's talk about Natasha Howard again, because I have no clue what her role is anymore. 6 points for boards, but no real stamp on the game. Aaliyah Boston? Another double-double, 11 points, 12 rebounds, but it's empty calories at this stage. Since Caitlin Clark went down, Boston hasn't been that dominant anchor this team needs. That's just facts. Kelsey Mitchell, 3 of 12, rough night, 9 points. She's supposed to be a flamethrower, but instead she's ice cold when they need her the most. Odyssey Sims threw up 15 points, but most of it came in garbage time. It's like, cool, you scored, but none of it mattered. And then there's Brianna Turner, logging 22 minutes and somehow managing to be invisible. No presence, no impact. You almost forget she's even on the floor. At the end of the day, the Fever walked out of halftime looking like they had no adjustments, no plan, no urgency. And I gotta ask the same thing again. What exactly is this coaching staff doing? Because if this is the best you've got against the defending champs, then you're already waving the white flag. Man, this Shea Petty, Aerial Powers, and Brianna Turner lineup. I don't even know what to say. That's just pain. Straight up pain to watch. We all went through it together and it was rough. And then Nelissa Smith, oh my goodness. She flat out embarrassed us tonight. I mean, that was nasty work. A full-on revenge game. She came out like she had a personal vendetta, like somebody told her she couldn't hoop, and she decided to burn the whole place down. Lexi Hull? She had her moment. Right there in the corner, bang, knocks down the three. And for a split second, you're like, okay, maybe, just maybe. But nope. That was pretty much the last good thing you saw. Because the second half was a nightmare. Look at the numbers: third quarter, 23-16. Fourth quarter, 22-7. That's not just bad, that's catastrophic. Points off turnovers. Indiana gives up 20, Aces snag 29. And then here's the real backbreaker, bench points. Aces 25. Fever? 6 points off the bench. I mean, how do you even compete with that? By the middle of the first quarter, I sat there like, yeah, this thing's already over. And the sad part is, I really do think Indiana's starting five should be able to stand toe-to-toe with the Aces. On paper, they match up. But in reality? Not tonight. Kelsey Mitchell, she's been the one holding it together, night in and night out. She's had legit MVP-type stretches, dropping 20+ to drag this team into games. But without her exploding, Indiana looks cooked. And that's exactly what happened tonight. She finishes with 12 points, and you can't win like that. You just can't. She needed to give them 25+ just to have a shot. That's way too much pressure on one player. Natasha Howard? Another invisible night. 7 points. 7. A supposed co-star who disappears when the lights are brightest. And Aaliyah Boston? Non-existent again. No spark, no presence. She's looking like a ghost out there, and that's a huge problem. At the end of the day, this game wasn't just ugly, it was unwatchable. If you stuck around till the final buzzer, you deserve a medal. Seriously. Because that was torture basketball. Anyway, that's it from me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you still believe this Fever squad can actually turn it around, or is it time to call it like it is? At the end of the day, this one was ugly. The Aces punched us in the mouth, Becky Hammond outclassed Stephanie White from start to finish, and the Fever flat out folded. Asia Wilson reminded everybody why she's the MVP. Nalyssa Smith actually showed up, and Becky Hammond's adjustments completely flipped the series momentum. But here's the silver lining, we're still 1-1. We did what we had to do in Vegas, steal home court. Now the pressure shifts back to Indiana, where the Fever have a golden chance to bounce back and show what they're really made of. Either Coach Steph figures it out and makes the right moves, or this season ends in heartbreak. So buckle up, Fever fans. Game 3 is going to tell us everything we need to know about this team. Let me know down below. Do you still believe, or is this series slipping away? Keep supporting. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch y'all on the next one.
From Stanford days on.
I mean, it feels like a physical game every game. Feels like it's been a physical season. But yes, I think, I feel like I've been on the ground a little bit more in this series so far. But we just keep getting back on. So that's all I can really say. Scott?
Oh, okay. You mentioned that you anticipated, obviously, the Aces would want to throw the first punch tonight, but what did you feel like was the differentiating factor between, game 1 versus game 2?
We can throw any. I mean, the reality is they came in and they were physical and they dictated, and we were on our heels and we were passive and we were reactive to everything. We 28 points off of turnovers, 14 points off of offensive rebounds. They're too good. We can't spot them 42. We've got to be able to handle that. I mean, they've been world champions for a reason. They have a mentality that they know exactly how to compete at this stage and at this level. And we've got to be able to respond, and we've got to be able to rise to that challenge.
Steph, why don't you think you were able to find any flow? And when that was the case, what are you trying to do to jumpstart things, maybe on the defense?
Well, it's hard for us to find flow when there's a foul call every 10 seconds. I mean, it just really is. And when they're at the free throw line, we can't get up and down the floor. And that's a challenge. They were much more aggressive and physical defensively. We didn't counter that with our off-ball actions or with our back cuts. So they took us out of our comfort zone. I mean, offense is about rhythm. It's about timing. It's about spacing. We allowed them to do that, and they kept us from doing it.
Steph, on that note, with Kelsey just having a little bit of a, they were able to contain her a little bit more. How did you feel like they were able to be successful in that regard?
I mean, the physicality won. She's like a little pinball. I know that the museum's right down the street, so sometimes I feel like she's getting pinged around everywhere. And also, she's played heavy minutes for us. I thought she looked a little fatigued. Some shots that she typically makes that she didn't. Obviously, their attention was AB and Kelsey, and deservedly so. But we were passive. I thought we didn't do a good job of attacking the rim. We were on our heels. We were settling for jumpers. We were holding the ball. We didn't have clock awareness. I mean, a lot of things that are a little bit uncharacteristic of us. But you got to give them credit. They came out and they put us on our heels.
Yeah, Lexi, obviously you were a late add to the injury report today. Just how are you feeling this morning with your back, and what do you have to do to be able to play? I mean, I'm feeling sore still, but I think just a lot of treatment, trying to get, our bodies as ready as we can be. Part of playoffs, I think, for everyone is end of the season. Everyone's a little fatigued, everyone's a little sore. So just trying to go out there and do the best I can. A lot of treatment with our trainers. I'm really thankful for them to spend a lot of time with me today, a lot of time with me yesterday, getting me ready for tonight. But it'll be a good rest day tomorrow. But I think that's, for everyone, we're just pushing through.
For both Lexi and Aaliyah, I know you guys will focus on this game tonight, but if I could just ask you to look forward to the series going to your home court in Indianapolis, how much is that really going to make a difference in this series, and how much does it mean to you guys to have that home court advantage?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. Our fans, they show up and they show out, and so for us just, using that, our own energy, but also using the energy in the crowd, I think it's going to be really great for us.
Yeah, we're excited. I know the last time it was the first playoff game in a really long time. So to be able to have two more for our fans that have been there with us all season, really excited for that. And we definitely do feed off of their energy, so we're really looking forward to it.
Aaliyah, Steph said you guys didn't throw any punches tonight. Why do you feel like that is, and what were you trying to really get going that just wasn't working?
Yeah, I think just getting into our coverages a little bit better, I think that would have helped get them out of rhythm. And so for us to just make sure that we clean that up and be a little bit better, because getting stops sparks our offense, and that gets us into our rhythm.
Yeah, for either Aaliyah or Lexi, you guys both played with Nelissa Smith last year. Just what was she doing so well tonight to kind of just get into a rhythm and help you guys?
I would definitely say probably her offensive rebounding. She had a few, gave them second chance points, got herself to the free throw line. So for us, we just got to tighten down on that, box out, because obviously she's super athletic and she does a great job of getting to the glass.
Aaliyah, to piggyback on the question about throwing punches, who's throwing first and not, you were coming toward us in the first half of the media, and it looked like you were trying to at least get physical. Was it more so a matter of that they were more physical this game than the first, because y'all intimidated them and pushed them around in the first game? Was it a matter of them pushing back and them dominating? Because it looked like you're trying to be physical in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, it's how you look at it. It looks, honestly, by some of the fouls and the way it was going, it looks like we were almost too physical, but yet at the same time, I feel like we have to be able to get that on the other end. I think, sometimes when you just look at the game as a whole, when you look at the way that It works. Sometimes you manipulate it into different ways and you have smaller matchups. So, I mean, I just don't think it's really possible all the time for some of those smaller matchups to really do such a clean job of that. But hey, I'm here to hoop, so none of my business.
Thanks, also.